Welcome to Oxpoon, the technology magazine. Hello and welcome. Today, I would like to take you into the fascinating world of radioactivity. Radioactivity is something that has surrounded us for millions of years and is naturally present all around us. And radioactivity is also something that can be very useful in science and technology. Think of medicine, for example, with radiotherapy, or age determination, for example with the C4 method, with which we can determine the age of samples. On the other hand, radioactivity is something we also have to think about, namely in radiation protection. How do we protect ourselves from too much radiation? But what is radioactivity anyway? To make this a little more tangible, I have brought you a so-called radioactive decay chain. The decay chain of uranium can be observed on the monitor behind me. The display shows various colored dots forming a chain from the top left to the bottom right. The bluish dots represent beta decay, where an atomic nucleus emits an electron, resulting in radioactive beta radiation. The yellowish dots, on the other hand, indicate alpha decay, in which an entire atomic nucleus is ejected from the atom, leading to radioactive alpha radiation. This process can be likened to shooting out the atomic nucleus. This illustrates the different types of radioactive decay that uranium undergoes. If you visualize it like that, you can already tell when it's shooting wildly around us and hitting our skin. And if it penetrates us in one way or another, it can be quite dangerous. So now we start up here with uranium-238. Then a beta decay to thorium-234 takes place first. The next step, as you can see, is protactinium-234. Then we arrive at uranium. So far, these have been beta decays. Now the alpha decays begin. That means we are losing mass. This number behind it is the mass number of the atom. Atom. And it loses mass because an atom moves out, and that's why we are now losing mass to thorium-230, radium-226, radon-222, and so on. The whole thing happens at different speeds. Some of these processes take centuries, millennia, sometimes millions of years to be completed. But with radon-222, this happens within a few days. I'll come back to that in a moment. If we move on now, the principle remains the same, but we can see at the bottom right that the dot has a different color. That brings us to lead-206. This is a stable atom. This lead-206, as we know it, I once brought you a lead plate here, as it was also used in water pipes, for example, until we realized that it is not radioactive, but in other ways it is quite toxic to us humans, slightly toxic. Lead, as you may know, has special properties. Although it is a metal, it can be bent and shaped quite easily. This is something that you can't easily do with steel or iron, for example, especially not just with your hands, as I'm demonstrating here. But I would like to go back in the chain from this lead, from the end product, so to speak. I said that we need to pay particular attention to this radon-222. The transformation of radon-222 to polonium-218 that we see here in our graphic happens within just a few days. This means that the intensity of this transformation is particularly high, and therefore also the radioactive radiation that comes from there. It is actually the case that half of the natural background radiation, the natural radioactive background radiation, to which we humans are exposed, comes from this one single process. And that is why there is a special focus on this process, on this particular transformation. One of the reasons I say this is because we are surrounded by it. They are natural elements that occur in our soils, and also in rocks, for example. I have brought you a stone here. I can touch it because the process is still slow enough that we humans are not generally harmed by it when we deal with these materials here, but it's all around us, and for example, in mining areas where rock is extracted. Mined where rock is extracted or in natural caves. Radon exposure can be particularly high there. Why is that? Well, radon, as I said earlier, is a noble gas, and this noble gas, like other gases, has the ability to escape through cracks, or through holes, through building envelopes that are not completely closed, into buildings through cracks or holes, through building envelopes that are not completely sealed. And that is definitely a danger. If we move around in the great outdoors, we don't have to be afraid. It is quite possible that in rooms, in buildings that are poorly or rarely ventilated, a high concentration of radon. And how we measure this radon concentration, and thus, I would now like to show you how we can measure this radon concentration and decide whether measures are necessary or not. I would like to introduce you to the PCE-RD 100, a radon detector, a tabletop device you could say, with a display on top. And we see on the display, it's a very clear display, we see the most important value in large, namely the radon concentration that this device measures. It works with a pulsed ionization chamber and can measure values between 0.1 and 99.9 picocurie per liter, and is therefore suitable for the entire common range of radon concentration. What we can also see here below is that the device also gives us the average value for the last day at a glance, as well as the average value for the last 7 days. The prerequisite is, of course, that the device has been running for this long. This is also displayed, so we can also see the time that the appliance has been in operation at the bottom. This is because it is an appliance that has time, a measurement over a longer period of time and that monitors the radon concentration in a certain room over a longer period of time. The fact is that the radon concentration fluctuates greatly, which also has to do with the weather conditions, with the seasons, with the ventilation behavior in this room. And that is why it is important to make a long-term measurement, and not just to observe selectively whether there is a high concentration of this potentially dangerous gas in this room. We also have other options. On the back we find a slot for a micro SD card. The micro SD card is supplied and offers the possibility of storing millions of data records. In the same way the device has, I can demonstrate this once. When I click here, press it, we see an icon at the top here, a connection icon. It is possible to pair the device with standard apps, such as Smart Life, and receive up-to-date information via the network or the internet, or even receive warnings when a certain threshold value is exceeded. The threshold value can be set. I can also show this if I hold the two buttons here for longer. We now have the option of setting the threshold values for a bad value and a dangerous value, and to accept, and, thus, also the coloring that we see here on the side. We can see an LED bar on all sides, which is currently illuminated in red. It would just as easily light up yellow or green, depending on which value has just been measured. And so you can see at a glance how the air quality, how the radioactivity in the room is on. Of course, it is also possible to switch off the display. For long-term measurement, it doesn't have to be active all the time. It doesn't have to be running all the time. And in this case, the LED bar is also switched off. So it stands somewhere inconspicuously, for example, on a shelf. The PCE-RD 100. I would like to introduce you to the PCE-RD 75, a radon detector, a nice, handy device with an attractive and easy-to-read display. In the middle, we see the most important value, the currently measured radon value, in this case in picocurie per liter. However, the device can just as easily be switched to becquerel per cubic meter. It measures between 6 becquerel per cubic meter and 10 kilobecquerel per cubic meter, and thus covers the entire required range. The scale display at the top is particularly attractive, as it shows at a glance how the current value is to be classified, and that even people who are not familiar with the units can tell. They can immediately recognize whether the value is good, bad, or worrying, and then act accordingly. We have other displays down here. For example, we see the accumulated display, the accumulated value of the last 19 days, in the case that the device is currently running here. We can press on it here because it's a touchscreen, and hold down on the average value of the last 12 hours, the last 24 hours, the last 48 hours, and the last 96 hours, and then return to the total value. The big dot at the bottom here takes us to the menu. And here we have the sub-item settings. And if we look there, we can define the alarm values. Personally, we can activate a power-saving mode. We can define the unit, date, and time. And we can translate other points here. And of course, we can also go back to normal measurement mode. The device comes with a battery that lasts for 12 days. Standby, which runs for 12 days without a power supply. We have the ability to record measurements for over 500 days at a time. And we have a power supply. So on the one hand, the power supply to charge the battery or to operate the device from the mains via a USB-C port. But we can also connect the device to this USB-C port on the computer, and then a PDF file is automatically generated, and we can take a quick look at it. So we get a report like this, and when we go to the next page, we immediately have a report, and we don't need any software on the computer. The device does this fully automatically, so we can look at the values that the device has measured, because with radon concentration, it is very important to measure over a longer period of time, and to look at the individual points in time, because the radon concentration fluctuates greatly depending on the weather, the ventilation behavior in the room, and other aspects. And in addition to the graphical representation, we also have a table with the measured values at different times. So all in all, it's a device that offers a wide range of options for measuring the radon concentration in a place, be it in common rooms where we spend long periods of time, the bedroom, the living room, but of course also in the professional sector, in workshops, in offices where we spend long periods of time, in order to measure the radon concentration there. To measure the radon concentration there with the PCE-RD 75. Let's take another look at an overview of the two devices. Firstly, the PCE-RD 100, a device with very simple and clear operation, which can communicate with us via the network, and can also send warnings to the smartphone via the internet if, for example, a certain threshold value is exceeded. It is also able to take long-term measurements and record data for up to a year. Data onto the memory card that can be inserted into this device and is included in the scope of delivery. The second device I have presented to you is the PCE-RD 75, a device with a very nice display on which you can immediately read and get immediate feedback on how dangerous the current value is that the device is measuring, the current radon value, on which we can also very quickly and clearly see the average values of the last 12, 24, 48, and 96 hours, and since the start of the measurements. And above all, a device that stores the data on its internal memory for 508 days, and automatically converts this data into a PDF file, so that we can view it on the computer and conclusions can be drawn about the radon concentration really very precisely. Hours up to date, so to speak. It measures every 10 minutes. These are two devices that enhance our senses. We can't sense radioactivity, we can't feel it or smell it, but smell it. But these devices still allow us to draw conclusions, take measurements, and thus expand our senses. Have a nice day. See you next time, and goodbye.
Discover and order the latest measuring and test equipment now on www.pce-instruments.com.